Hello, welcome back to another video. I thought we'd try something a little bit different this week because we had some jobs to do in the garden, so I thought I'd bring you along with us to the garden centre to get some bits and bobs and tick those jobs off. So it's very windy outside, so apologies if you can hear all sorts of things blowing and banging. But yes, here we are. So we came to the garden centre and I'm not going to lie, I'm getting very excited about Christmas, and the garden centres are starting to fill their shelves with lights and all sorts of twinkly things, and the babies are also starting to get a little bit excited as they see new bits and bobs come out. So yeah, the jobs that we need to take off in the garden, we had a shady border to fill, so I wanted to pick up some plants from the garden centre to go in this space. It's outside the front of the garden and it really doesn't get much sunlight at all. So I'm hoping that, and there's little Percy Boy's face having a go at filming on the camera. I'm hoping that these plants will be okay out the front there. We shall see. Also, this is the twin buggy life, as one has to sit actually in the buggy if there isn't two seats. So we picked up those plants. I got a hydrangea, a rubella, and I think it was not a verbena, something else. I will find out exactly what it is. Put those into the trolley, and then we had a little bit of lunch as a pause before finishing off having a little look around. Here they are being pretty cute together. Back home, and Sheppy is in her little sunspot. We have a real good sun trap out the back of the garden because the back garden obviously is south facing as opposed to the front garden being north facing, so we are very lucky with that side of things. Okay, so along with the little plants to go outside the front of the house, we also started putting together a little area for the babes to play in, so a little mud garden for them just to make their own really. So we've got some edging here. Some of these were just left in the garden, and then Grandad had a leftover piece that he didn't need, so we kindly were able to use that to make a little curve. So first we needed to lay the edging to where we wanted it, and then I managed to pick up a weed membrane really cheaply from B&Q to lay down so that the weeds don't come through. And then once that was all in place, we then needed to get some wood chip and put that on top as well, so it's like a nice soft area where they can play and muck about. I've got lots of different ideas for this little space for them, including upgrading the mud kitchen, which I got for free on Marketplace, but it needs either replacing or a lot of upcycling. And then we've got a little cable wheel to add some bits and bobs to. And yeah, I'd just like to get some more messy play areas for them to explore and play in. And I'm hoping we can get out here in the winter time as well as spring, summer as well. Okay, so onto the front border. I started using a fork, but very quickly we needed to share the spade because that was not giving me the hole that I wanted to. Also, the soil out the front is very clayey, and I did put a bit of mulch down earlier this year, but I'd love to know if you have any advice for very thick clay soil, whether it's just a case of mulching it regularly, or if there's anything else I could be adding to the soil to make it the best growing conditions for these little plants down here. We've got a rose out the front there which seems to be doing well, but yeah, I don't know a lot about soil. I know you can test the acidity of the soil in different plants at different acidities. That's very boring, but you know, important if it makes your garden look as beautiful as it's supposed to be. So we've got this hydrangea, chose a white one, it was in the sale. I think we are coming to the end of the hydrangeas being sold. I'd actually really like to find a dusky pink one, but also the flowers sort of change colour through the season as well, so it might be a brighter pink and then turn into a bit more dusky. But yeah, I was happy with this little find. Actually, as I was doing this, somebody walked past and with a nice chat about how big they're going to get and how beautiful they are. In fact, apparently hers changed colour. One year it was pink and one year it was blue. So there you go, didn't know that could happen. But yeah, I was very pleased with that little find. As you can see, this little patch out the front also needed a lot of de-weeding, so I managed to tick that off as I popped these new shrubs in, and I'm looking forward to getting another layer of mulch down this autumn because it just makes the beds look so much tidier, even if underneath there are weeds still poking their little heads out, trying to get some sunlight. Last thing was to give them a good splash of water, so I just used the rest of the water that I had soaked them in before popping them in the ground, and then grabbed the hose pipe and made sure that they were all nice and topped up, ready for their new home. The babies have come to join us sort out their little play area, and as I'm sure you can imagine, trying to get anything practical done with a toddler around, never mind 2 toddlers around, is pretty tough work, but we managed just about. So we laid the membrane down to where we needed it after I had flattened the ground as much as I could and taken out any weeds or stones or anything like that. And then we pinned it down with their little plastic pins, very easy to just knock in the ground and secure it into place. Obviously not forgetting Sheppy the dog, who also wanted to come and help us to sort this out. So let's add a dog into the mix as well. Percy and I popped out to the garden centre round the corner to grab some bark to go in this area, and obviously anything that they can climb on, they will climb on. So they had a good play on the bark, they turned it into a slide and had some good fun exploring. Then last of all, we needed to put the bark down on top of the membrane. Enter our 2 little helpers who did a grand job in trying to spread out the bark, as I'm sure you can imagine. And then yeah, that is that little area finished. I've picked up a few bits from some charity shops for them to use out there in that space, and like I say, I've got my eye on a few other bits that I might have to pick up at some point, maybe in the sales or for Christmas, as that, as I said, is quickly coming up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed a slightly different sort of video from me this week. Have a good week, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will catch up again soon. Bye!